Hey you, and welcome to my channel. My name is Tina and my aim is to improve your drawings just like others have done for me when I just started out. Today I just wanted to have a quick talk about something that is very important for every artist out there, whether you are just a hobby artist, someone who wants to break through, or even an established artist. All of us will struggle with this, and that's not a good habit. At least not most of the time. I'm talking about comparing yourself to others. I've mentioned this in previous videos before, but I looked at it more in a black and white way. The thing is, life isn't mostly just black and white, with comparisons no different. So instead of just saying you shouldn't do it, I want you to have a closer look at something all of us tend to do. Let me first explain why we compare. Small disclaimer, I am no expert on this topic, nor do I claim to be. I simply speak out of personal experience and articles, blogs, books, and videos that I've read or saw. Comparisons are a natural human tendency and aren't inherently bad. Let me try to explain what I mean by this. I'll use money as an example. Some people view money as a bad thing because bad things can be done with money. On the other hand, money can keep non-profit organizations afloat, which is a good thing. So depending on what is done with money, it's either good or bad, but money itself is neither. This is what I mean when I say comparisons aren't inherently bad. Now back to the comparisons. We do this quite a lot actually, and most of the times this is actually a good thing. For instance, we compare our current situation with our former situation. Or we compare our current self with our former self. We compare our skills with other artists. All of this is done to measure our progress. There is this popular saying that says, to measure is to know. So in fact, when we compare ourselves in this way, we check if we are still on track of where we want to get. So definitely a good thing. Now, comparisons with other people are also a good motivator for some people. For example, if your friend has mastered a certain medium, it could motivate you to work harder and also be able to work in this medium. For some people, comparisons work two ways. You could think that you are doing worse than somebody else and therefore you want to do better. You can also think that you are doing better than somebody else and therefore want to continue doing well. But the key thing that I mentioned here is that it only works for some people. Your job is to find out if you fall into that category or not. If you are, comparing yourself to others will inspire you and motivate you. In the end, you will do more good than harm. But if you find yourself thinking the following things, I'll never be able to do that, or for them it's so easy, I'm not as good as them, and so on, there is a big chance that you fall in the category of people that do not benefit from comparisons. The problem here is that comparisons do not lift you up, instead they bring you down. People who benefit from comparing will get a boost from it. Either they will work harder to attain the level or they will be motivated to keep their efforts up. You, on the other hand, get a completely different feeling from this. You doubt yourself and your self-worth. It doesn't inspire you. If anything, it deters you from doing what you wanted to do. So, unlike the other group, it doesn't help you in any way. By now, I think that you know which type of person you are. If you fall into the category that gets a boost from this habit, compare away, I would say. If you fall into the other category, in my opinion, there are two things that you can try. I think it's safe to say that I can give my opinion on this since I myself fall into this category. Let's start with the first things that you can do. You should simply stop comparing. Even though this is obvious, it's still not an easy thing to do. We get so many thoughts in a day, thoughts that we aren't even conscious of, so comparison will always pop up. When this happens, you should simply acknowledge that it did, but that you are not going to give it any more thought or energy. Something that I also find helpful is to state something like, I know I just compared myself, but it didn't make me feel any better. So since it didn't do anything good for me, each time I want to compare myself, I'll stop myself. And then you try. A second thing that you can do instead of completely stopping with this habit is change the way that you react to it. This will take quite some time since you have to change a belief that you may have had for a long time, but I personally find this method easier. To change the way comparisons make you feel, you should change your words. I'll give you a few examples. For instance, you see someone doing something that they don't like and you know that you are next to do this. Instead of thinking, since they hated it, I must hate it too, rephrase this so it might not be their thing, but it could be mine. Another example you see are very skilled artists at work, and you think to yourself something in the lines of, I'll never be as good as that, as this artist, or I'll never be able to achieve that level. Rephrase this to, I want to get to that level, how can I get to that level? As you can see, your aim is to keep the comparison up, but change how you react to it. In the example, when I rephrase my thoughts, I never made it to something that isn't true. In the first example, I didn't say that I'm going to love doing that. Instead, I said that it could be my thing. So I didn't try to believe something completely outlandish. This wouldn't work either. I just tricked myself into believing something that is more boosting to my moral. Whether or not it is true doesn't matter as long as you can believe it. And there you have it, my more in-depth view on comparisons. I would love to read what kind of person that you are, so let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And I also have a lot of other videos on my channel that might interest you. So definitely check them out. Next Friday, I'll be back with another video. See you then, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great week.